We're back.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about now about Serbs after during the World War I, and our heroes. They were fighting on the side of America in World War II, and we're gonna talk about Chetnik pokret, Chicha Draža, and we can talk about Serbs after the World War II.
Right. And so right now, because it's next to us, I thought that we could just show this here book called Early Days Serbian Settlers in America. And this was made by my father, Milan Carlo. He transversed the America, crisscrossing back and forth so many times to get these stories. And he really wanted it to be all of Serbia, but he couldn't do it. He ran out of time. But he has, this is like really the Serbs from the west, and all the heroes that were in here, and they're just beautiful stories. And he gathered these all together.
I see poop in there.
Yeah, if you hold this for a minute like this, we can like just go pushing through. Oh, this is beautiful about all these Serbians that died in a mining accident and how they were buried. This is about the coins that I had of King Peter right there, a medal. Oh, this story right here of Sam, what was his last name? Popovich. Oh, how about that? Is a beautiful one. He was a guardian of all the things out in Jackson, and he gave my father one of these things that they used to wear in the lodge, where it's red, white, and blue on one side, or red, blue, white, really, I should say, for Serbia. And then on the other side was black that they wore at the funerals. So I have one of those that says Jackson, and that's a beautiful thing. He talked about cemeteries. Oh, this is about Kuma Anja Polic. She did so much for Shadland Camp. She made the administration building. That she paid for that. This is the shame what they did. I mean, because I don't care what side of the church dispute you were on. She and her husband donated that whole administration building. They used to have a beautiful big painting of Bishop Dionysius on one side, and an equally large one on the other side of the Poliches.
Mm-hmm.
They took that down, which was like in spite, but they shouldn't have, because she gave so much to Shadland. She bought all the beds and everything. Like, I can remember that when I was a teenager, and she did a lot for the Jackson camp too.
What is approximately the year?
She's back. Pardon me.
What is the approximately the
about
year?
59, 60.
59,
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, 58. So then these are other stories of very prominent people, not really that they might not have been the most successful, but they did so much for the Serbian people. You talk about the churches in Los Angeles, etc. So Tonopah, these are then he does explain in the back. Oh, this is a real one. This is about Professor Alex Drivnic. He wrote book after book about Serbs and Croats, and my sister left a whole legacy of books, and we had them taken up to Shadland because we figured, well, the priests were up there, they could read them, or maybe the children themselves could get interested in these books. Well, it shows how he lived up in the state of Washington, but became one of the most well-known professors anywhere from there. And then Arizona.
Is this book available somewhere or not?
Yeah, I'll give you one. I have.
I mean for the people.
Yeah. We don't have many left. Just a couple I found since my sister died. That we have a couple more. Otherwise, it was gone. So that's that book about. It was from 1984. Okay, these are some pictures. These are some pictures that he from the same book, because he really captured the history of the Serbs as much as he could. I love this story about the Serbs up in Douglas.
Just put it in a camera.
Yeah.
You can explain and you know.
Okay.
Okay.
The Serbs up in Douglas, Alaska. This is Serbian Christmas, January 7th. They hired a band to help them march down the streets. I just love that story.
What year?
I think in 1903 or 1907. What year did it say?
1935.
No.
It says here.
Maybe that's from before, but it used to be from like much earlier than that. But even in 1935, it would be something special.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is Saba Hayden and Velimir Hayden. These were the ones that started like the Serb National Federation. And these are different pictures from the earlier times, even including a funeral right here. I think I saw. Here it is. My grandfather is right here. This is their 40th anniversary of the Serb National Federation. So he's right there. This is a picture of when King Peter came to America, and he's down there in Washington, D.C. with all these famous other people. Yes. I have it. I can't remember. Maybe 41, 42. I can't remember. But here's something, a shadow box that my cousin Dennis, my cousin Dennis put together. This was from the 80th anniversary of the rescue that we were just there last year, the year before. It was. Okay, Operation Halyard 2024. These are the stamps that were very hard to get. My cousin Paul ran 3 different times to the post office to get this. My cousin Denny is a famous architect, Dennis Astorino, but he made this picture of the Serbian farmer, the farmer peasant, and also this one of Draža Mihailović. And he put, like I said,
what is this?
This is a picture. Plane? Yes, this is a picture of the coming back, the rescued airmen. There's a better one I have of where Bobby Marjanovic was from Aliquippa. That he was real important. That he was on one of those planes too. Okay, that's heavy. This is probably one of the best books ever written to describe exactly what happened in World War II with Draža Mihailović. And this George Vojinović is the hero in this story. You have this book? No, you need this one. But anyway, George Vojinović grew up just catty corner, not even half a block, catty corner from my father. And I'll tell you exactly where. You know where the American Serbian Club is in Pittsburgh. Then there's the parking lot right next to it. Well, George's house is where that parking lot was. And now if you're at the American Serbian Club and you go out the back door, that's exactly where my grandparents were at 2532, I think, Larkin's Way. But anyhow, he's a big hero in this book. And then George's father moved to Ambridge, and they went to the Aliquippa Church. So you have Pittsburgh and Aliquippa with this book.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a wonderful one.
Beautiful.
Okay. What is this? Oh, here's Halyard Mission. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is just about the Army forces. It's just another one of my pillows that I have from World War II. I collected those. Okay. Let's see what else we have. This movie called The Chetniks was in Chicago. It premiered in Chicago. What I loved about it is that the Sloboda Choir sang right in front of the marquee here and everything. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to see. What happened, though, when they changed it to Tito, to be on Tito's side, they changed it to the Fighting Partisans. Can you imagine that? But here's the original one right here. Okay.
Wow. Admission was $15.
Okay. Oh, this is so important. Here's that book again, but it says, "We are some of the 500 Americans, World War II, missing in action, rescued by Yugoslav Serbs." And this is Richard Feldman, who was in charge of all the Americans, airmen that fought over and over to get the truth out about General Draža Mihailović. This is Baba Mim. BabaMim.com. If you look at this, you can find all that information. I have tons and tons of information about Draža Mihailović on BabaMim.com, and then you just look up Draža Mihailović, and you'll find a lot of info. This is Nick Lulich right here in the middle. All these airmen went to Washington, D.C. to try to save Draža Mihailović's life. And Tito just went ahead and he wouldn't let any of them come to save him, or have the Americans save him. Here is Valerie Gatiss, who is my state representative, signing this wonderful thing for Karl Walpus. Karl Walpus was one of the people rescued by Draža Mihailović, and he lived right here in Moon Township. Here's Karl Walpus right here with his wife, Virginia, and he said, "None of my children would have been born if it weren't for General Draža Mihailović and the Serbs." And he loved them. He went with me to so many different places to try to get the truth out.
I love pictures, Baba.
Yeah, this is bringing recognition to the brave deeds of the OSS, the Serbs, and the U.S. Airmen to the fore. I was very fortunate to ask to give this presentation December 7th, which is a very important date in American history, 2008, to 300 people from the National Guard in Ohio, and I talked all about the Serbians. Here it is. It was bringing greetings and heartfelt gratitude to Ohio's National Guard, Toledo's EAA, that's the Experimental Aircraft Association 582, for making this day possible for Americans of Serbian heritage found throughout the world who are with us in spirit today. That was it. This is this was 64 years later. This is when they finally came home. This is George Voinovich, the one from Pittsburgh and Aliquippa, and Bobby Marjanovic is on here. Bobby Marjanovic is right here, and this is Jibby. You'll learn so much more about him when you read that book. But this is when they arrived in Bari, Italy. He was never allowed to go. George was never allowed to go to Yugoslavia because they didn't trust him. And it says, "May we pause for a moment to think how different history in the former Yugoslavia might have been if this new knowledge of the contributions of the true blue Serbs during World War II had come out at least 20 years earlier." This is all part of my presentation. Okay, I have 6 important items that we're going to show today, so let's go. Today, 1, we honor the OSS radioman Arthur Jubilian, who, along with the OSS American Serb counterparts, George Voinovich, George Muslin, Nick Lulich, Mike Rajasic, helped carry out the largest air rescue in World War history from behind German-occupied lines in Yugoslavia. 2, we are going to send heartfelt greetings to the Serbian people loyal to the forces of General Draža Mihailović and his Chetniks who endured great hardships thrust upon them, but coupled with their love of America and its ideals of democracy, made this survival of the U.S. airmen possible. They rescued 512 airmen, 432 Americans, and 80 Allied. This is number 3, where we publicly acknowledge the gratitude we extend to all of the American airmen who flew the dangerous missions into Serbia and helped rescue their American counterparts and our fellow
That's the
American
plane.
citizens.
That's the plane.
Pardon me?
That's the plane.
No,
No.
no, no. This is yeah. They brought them. This is done in one of the air places they took us. Okay, and then to the Ohio National Guard in Toledo, who we see as leading the way to finally recognize the contributions of the Serbian people of the Ohio mission. Number 4, we extend a brotherly hand of friendship. And then number 5, we salute the members of the EAA 582 for their work in bringing this recognition forward, especially the efforts of leaders Bill Herzog, Bill David, and community partners, the TV station WTOL. They flew Carl Walpus and me and all the other rescued airmen to the Ypsilanti Airport. The Yankee Museum at the Ypsilanti Airport, where they filmed. They were filmed on WTOL.
Ohio.
Okay, and then this is important. This is an important part of history. They try to say this didn't happen, and yes, it did, because even World War II hero Mitchell Page led the way at Kennywood on Serbian Day in Kennywood. They had raised all kind of money for the American bombers. This American bomber salute by the American bombers, bought by all the Serbian Americans in 1943. We have this picture here at the Savas for sure, where it says American Serb. Wow. And here's my Aunt Marty, who was part of that ceremony when they turned over the money. And this is a big convention that they had. Always loyal as Americans, shown here christening American bombers.
In Pittsburgh?
In Pittsburgh. And finally, this is here. We have Batraja Mrs. Ravnugorci. Okay, and you're going to like this next part. This is the American Serb Life magazine. This is my father's magazines from 1948. Thank God he documented Nick Lalich's diary day by day. So this is all here, and I'm going to show you right here the original ones where this came from. And here are
1948.
Yeah. Oh. And here are Serbs right here that were buying war stamps during World War II. So Violet Novita Jokic Milanovic, Violet Pekic Todorovic, and Martha Stone Stanisidovic. And here they are with Chicha Draja. This is such a beautiful thing to have. And again, here are the airmen that try to go to Washington, D.C., where it says, "He saved our lives, let's save his." And this is what I was telling you about. These are very precious. This is in my father's magazines from 1948, June 1948. Here's Bishop Nikolai on the front page. Where do I find you? Wow. The whole thing is loaded with beautiful things. But this is like, I want to find the... Here it is. Now this is not the first issue, but this is continuation of Nick Lalich's diary from September. But we have other ones that start in August, and it goes all the way from August 3rd to December 28th, when finally they all went out, all 500. And but isn't this amazing? Beautiful. Amazing.
Beautiful story.
Yep. And it's okay. So this one here,
1948.
and this is April, but this is page 12. We have to look at page 12 first. Oh my goodness. Yes. Here's more September, but this is September. I guess we're working backwards here, but these are more pictures, and I have
That's the same picture from the plane.
Yes,
Mm.
but I have something important to tell you right here. This one here. This is my good friend Bud Dowles in the middle. He was one of those rescued airmen that they flew to the Ypsilanti Air Museum. He was the best friend that Serbs ever had. During the Dayton Accords, he planted 512 flags right in his yard, which was on the way. You couldn't go to the Dayton Air Force Museum without passing his house. And he had 512 American flags planted in his yard, plus the big sign from his American Legion that said about the rescue and stuff like that. People really tried to get the truth out, but it was hidden so badly all those years. It was amazing. But anyway, going back to Bud Dowles, Bud Dowles, is his grandson brought home a book that was called, from the Time magazine, called Chetniks and Partisans or something like that. And he says, Grandpa, he says, I thought you'd like to see this. And inside was this picture. He says, that's me and my whole crew. How about that?
In the attic.
Yeah.
And that's sleeping. The same Dayton, Ohio, where special Dayton agreement was made,
right,
for Republika Srpska in 1985.
Yes. And so he tried real hard. Here's some more of those pictures right here. The best part about these pictures is I have all these photographs over there in another room.
Wow.
This is Can you want to show the cover of that one so that that was from April. So it was done in installments. Here's let me see when this starts. Well, real close. This is part 2. I was with Mihailovich. This is now the March-April issue. And look at these pictures right here. Here's the one I was telling you about El Equipa. This is Bobby Marjanovic. And you see they're wrapped with their blankets. That's because they gave their boots and sometimes even their pants to they just threw them out to the peasants, the farmers down below, the Chetniks,
Wow.
The wonderful Chetniks. Okay. Let me see what else we have. Always treasures. Open carefully.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely worth it. Worth it. This is a postcard.
Can you help?
Yes, thank you. Okay. This is the Braća Maksimović, the Maksimović brothers. I love this postcard, and it's because of this. In 1937, I think it was, when they had the very first Serbian Singing Federation concert in Akron, Ohio, I think. I'm pretty sure. Vlajko Lugonya wanted something special, so he asked these brothers. There are four brothers, but you see five people on here. One was the editor that traveled with him, to come to America to sing. So here at that concert, that very first concert in April, they sang "Oi Mariana," and everybody loved that. It was a catchy tune, and so in the nighttime around the bar and everything, they says, "Oh, could you sing it again?" Uh, Oi Mariana, slatka moja Mariana, ja ću te čekati. And so everybody loved it. So they says, "Oh, could you come to our colony, to our colony?" So I always knew that they went to Aliquippa, but only after reading my grandmother's diaries did I know that they also stayed at my Baba's house.
Oh my
How
God.
about that? And she says that they were so tired washing their clothes. There's five of them, don't forget, besides everybody else in the house. And so she was ironing, and she told my mother, and my mother was complaining. This is like early, on in these days, and uh, she paid my mother 50 cents a shirt to iron for their shirts so she'd be quiet. And then they went and brought home these live chickens. This is all in Bubba's diaries. They brought these live chickens home for her to cook and everything. But there's even more to this story, and this is why I love it so much. Um, when they stayed in Aliquippa, they stayed with a priest whose name was Marjanovic. And here he died, and so his wait. First of all, they stayed there, and so they became good friends and everything. All right. So years pass, and he died, uh, and they didn't have pensions and everything like that. So they sent the rest of the priests got together, and they're sending Bobby Marjanovic over to Serbia to study to become a priest. Okay. All right. It just so happened while he's there, April 6th is when that bombing came, and they bombed Belgrade. And there's all kind of reports about how the streetcar exploded, arms and legs were flown here and there, um, and just total chaos. Well, he was like so shocked, Bobby Marjanovic. He was just standing there like in PTSD. And all of a sudden, and then people were running back and forth, the ones that could still walk and everything. So this one guy runs past him, and then he comes back and he says, "Božidar, is that you?" And it was, yeah, it was Bobby Marjanovic. That was one of the Maximovich brothers. So they took him to his mother's house in Belgrade, who was a teacher. He stayed there for 2 weeks, and then they went and joined Draža Mihailović. Now that was absolutely perfect because he could speak both Serbian and English. And so besides Jibby, Arthur Jibilian, the radio man, he was very invaluable to Draža Mihailović, Bobby. And we're always proud of Aliquippa because of that. And it also said, and this is another reason why I like it, is that their mother was a spy. So she would be doing her regular job of teaching, but she could also keep her eye on everything. That's why this is so important to me. Isn't that worth it?
Beautiful.
So much to say.
Oh, the guy next to the fifth guy is some S. Popovich.
Oh, okay. There
Yeah,
you go.
I don't know
Another
who-
Popovich.
Yeah,
How
another
about that?
Popovich. Wow.
He was their reporter. But isn't that something that it was my
Beautiful.
Baba's diaries that also say about them coming. And you could see that I never gave up trying to talk about this story. I had better hair then. Look,
And that book.
isn't that something with a book and then
Yes.
all this other stuff?
Do you
Oh,
remember, like, you were a kid when the Chetniks were coming after the World War II? Do you remember what was like a first your impression as a kid seeing those guys?
and oh yes, we always Nick Lalich, all those George Muslin, we always admired them, and they went all over the country trying to raise money to help, Draja's case and everything. Oh, this is a wonderful story. Milan Carlo in his role, part one, how I knew the real story from age 7, and that's because of these books.
Mm-hmm.
From age 7, I knew what was happening. So here's a Mim Bizić. This is Curtis Badals. He's the one that I told you that his grandson found him, and he's also the one that planted the flags. This is Carl Wolpusk, the one that was from Moon Township. And this one here is Claire Musgrove. I'll never forget, his airplane was next to our little airplane. They came all the way from Ohio to pick us up here at the Beaver County Airport, flew us up to Ypsilanti, flew us back to Pittsburgh. Then they had a flew back. I mean, this is what the EAA. The EAA is an Experimental Aircraft Association. They said that they never knew a hero lived amongst them, and that's why they really promoted that a lot. Anyway, so the two little airplanes are side by side, and I'll never forget Claire Musgrove waving goodbye out of the airplane. But they're all gone now, and he's gone.
Wow.
Only I am still here to tell his story.
Oh, man.
Tell their story. Okay, this is a real good one. This is about where it says Draja was Hitler's number one headache. This is the 75th anniversary. This is 1944 to 2019. On this Veterans Day, the families of the 500 and Allied Airmen are thankful to General Draja Mihailovic and his Serbian Chetniks, the OSS, the 15th Army Air Corps, the Tuskegee Airmen. Now that goes back and forth whether they were truly there or not, for the greatest rescue from behind enemy lines in Serbia. And this is from the 75th anniversary. All right. This is, Vidovdan's coming up real soon, right?
Sunday.
Well, yes, Sunday. And yet, look at this. This is Vidovdan 1944 with General Draja Mihailovic.
That's beautiful. Where is that? Oh, Ravna Gora.
Ravna Gora.
Wow.
I'll never forget the first trip I took with the Serbian Unity Congress people. People got out of the bus and they went down and kissed the ground in Ravna Gora before they got back on. That was their first time back in America. Okay, this is thousands of people were in attendance for the 75th anniversary. Okay. Here's OSS hero George Muslin, a real good friend of my father's. They pulled him because he was too Serbian. He outwitted Churchill. Churchill tried 3 times to have their airplane, you'll read about that, to have the airplanes go in different places, and he figured it out. And so they loved him in Serbia because he could speak Serbian so well.
Wow.
Oh, remember I told you about the flags? Here's Curtis Dowles. Here's all the flags. And there's the beautiful tribute that he had that everybody that visited the Dayton Air Force had to see. And here, isn't that something?
Wow. And it says there, a tribute to Serbian villagers of World War II.
Yep. And then this is Curtis Dowles and his family. Like he says, that they would never been born. They weren't born if it wasn't for, Let me see what else I have. Oh, you're going to like this part. This is Bobby Marjanovic and his sister in Aliquippa. And here are the Maximovich brothers.
Oh, again. The same picture.
Yeah, but I blew it up.
Is this Popovich related to a Popovich Tamburica band in Chicago?
I don't have any idea.
kaip Chetnik.
These are pictures from that. And this is from my dad's book. This is probably the earliest one about I was with Mihailovich. Yeah. U.S. won't let pilots thank Mihailovich. These are all things. Here's my letter to President Trump. I never gave up either. Okay.
2019. Did he say anything back?
Yeah, just one of those standard letters, nothing great. Here's a good picture with Nick Lalich right here, and Bobby Majarich over here. Richard Feldman was one of the rescued airmen. He was with Carl Walpus, the one from Moon Township, but he was the one that was the head of all the airmen. And he wrote this to my dear friend Milan Carlo. We have indeed been misfortunate in that in our time we have had first-hand knowledge of an historic moment in Serbian history. For generations to come, General Draža Mihailović will be revered in the hearts of the Serbian people, along with other great heroes such as Saint Sava, Tsar Lazar, and Richard Feldman was Jewish faith. If ever one man personified the proud dignity of Bolje grob nego rob, it was our beloved Chicha. I offer this book along with the thought of Rabbi Tarson in the Ethics of Our Father. The work is not yours to finish, neither are you free to take no part in it.
Is there anything that American government after World War II did for the Serbian community as a form of gratitude? For all those heroes.
No. And I think this is the trial of Draža Mihailović. And then this is all about the 50th anniversary of VE Day, 54th anniversary of General Mihailović. This is 1995 when Nick Lalich and his friends went back to visit for the very first time. Here, James Inks wrote a wonderful book about Draža Mihailović, but when it came out and he tried to have it publicized, all kind of terrible writing against it was written, and so it could never get off the ground. It's a great book. Okay.
Thanks.
Oh. Remember I told you about Carl Walpus and his grandson? Mm-hmm. Well, here's a picture. It was in their newspaper in Ohio.
Beautiful.
Isn't that fantastic?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like from a movie.
Yeah. This is the official poster from the 75th anniversary. What is nice is what the U.S. Air Force, it's all because of John Capello. He worked real hard. He was an Air Force pilot too, and he couldn't get over the fact that he was a pilot and nobody ever talked about the Draža Mihailović or this great rescue. So he has done everything possible to promote this with the Smithsonian, with everybody. And every year now, the Air Force band plays at the services. Okay, here's the Yeftovich family. They're the ones that rescued. They hid a lot of the Serbians here, and this is General Draža Mihailović's great grandson right here. Here's Valerie right here. And this is Stephanie Lalich, or Nick Lalich's daughter. Mm-hmm. So, but the Yeftoviches, they have the most beautiful place. You can stay there. You'd love it. Here's a better picture of them, the Yeftoviches. The father has since died. Okay, and then the Coles, uh, Robert Cole was another rescued airman, and their family goes every year to, and this is a beautiful place where the Yeftoviches have their place,
Mm.
but the Coles stay there all the time. Um, this is at the University Library exhibit in Belgrade. That was for the, I think, 75th. Yes. This is my cousin Milos Markovic. He says, Mim, you know more people in Serbia than I do. uh, and this is nice where the Yugoslav band, the Serbian Air Force band, was playing the Star Spangled Banner and Bože Pravde. I was so proud that I could sing along.
Beautiful.
And then afterwards, and this is all thanks to John Capello, residents and students were recognized for their deeds and achievements. So even if the actual person who did the rescue was gone, they recognized the children or the grandchildren. It was very nice.
Are they still doing that? Is there any connections with the grandchildren of those pilots
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Serbia?
Well, I don't know with them, but I mean, he's trying real hard with the ones that are still over there. This is another Cole, and she's pointing to the signs. They have these signs now in different places
Mm.
to recognize. And this is the 75th anniversary. So much has been done since, because at this time this was just a field with this marker and some of those big posters like you saw. Now they have a beautiful foundation that looks just like the outline of an airplane.
Beautiful.
So that's that. Let me see what else we have. You can take out this. I salute the Sloboda newspaper because they never forgot, and this is one of the newspaper articles, and this is the crowd. What do we have here? Oh, the airmen were very, very smart. They were organized. They, no matter where they lived, some lived in Texas, some lived in Illinois, Detroit, whatever, they told their stories to their respective newspapers. And then they compiled it all into one book. This is tremendous. So this one here, where was he from? Our motto, he saved our lives, we'll save his. This is from Chicago. And they showed, here's Draža Mihailović, and it shows all the other rescued airmen. Oh, now this is a real important one. This is a German map, not Serbian map, a German map from 1940 to show where the Serbs lived. And look where they live.
I don't want to even look.
This is just from, okay. Oh, I think you're going to like this one. Mim Bizić and the president of Serbia, Alexander Vucic.
That's very popular now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it's going to be popular.
I know, but this was important to me because he says to me, "What did you say?" Somebody was telling him about my website, and he says, "What did you say it was?" And I says, "babamim.com." He says, and the television cameras were rolling. He says, "Repeat it again," and I did. babamim.com. He says, "One more time," and I said, babamim.com, and then he says, as soon as I leave here, he says, I'm going home and I'm going to plug that in. So
he needs it.
All right. Yeah, I know he's not that popular now, but it was very nice at that time. And this is the icon they put in the church right there in Pranjani. They have a new priest there. You know, it's so funny. When they celebrated the 24th, not the 75th, when they celebrated the 80th, they had all these American pilots in there listening to the priest talk about everything. I says, somehow, I can't remember. I says, well, you want me to sing Ochanash? And he looked at me and I says, I can sing it. And he says, well, those words aren't the words I know. He says, I recognize some of them. So he must be the new Serbian. We're speaking the old Slavonic, right?
Yeah.
But Ochanash, that's okay. But I mean, he never heard of the other one. He says, I recognize some words. Here's Valerie Gatus, who went with me, and John Capello right here, who's done so much. And then these are the people from the school. There's Captain Nikolic. I don't know what she's doing in here. Oh, here's another one of this. This is a big picture of George Voinovich right here, and that when this is their final when they landed in Bari, Italy. Oh, here's a real good one. Thanks to Carl Savich, who is a very big Mihailovich file. He found all these comic books that had Draža Mihailovich, and American kids were reading all these comic books about Draža Mihailovich. He was called the Yugoslav MacArthur so many times. So that's just one book.
It's like a Serbian Marvel.
Yeah. Okay, we're going back to that 2008 presentation in the Toledo National Guard, and it says, rejoice with our fellow American Serbs and any of the remaining 500 plus rescued airmen who kept alive through word and song the torch of liberty and freedom personified in the works and deeds of General Mihailovich all these years. And there's me with these rescued airmen up at Ypsilanti Airfield right there singing. So I tried to document. This is all from a PowerPoint presentation I gave. And I ended it with Sloboda singing, keeping the deeds of Draža Mihailovich alive in colony after colony. And here's it, Lansing, Illinois choir singing, Spremte se, spremte, Chetnici. Okay.
That was the old Lansing.
Yeah.
On the south side.
No, this was
Lansing.
Huh? Sloboda from Chicago.
Yeah, but
yes, outside Chicago. Yes.
They built a new church there.
Oh, look at how valuable this is. This is saved for Mimi. This is Milan Carlo got this. It says, delighted with the English edition, February 24th. Please send me 20 copies. Regards, Ruth Mitchell. And that is 1943.
Wow.
Western
Union.
Yeah, Western Union. And what this was, it was all about the Chetniks, Draža Mihailovich, and Hitler's number one headache. Ruth Mitchell was a Chetnik. She was a journalist who loved the Serbs, and here's her connection. Her brother was the famous General Billy Mitchell, who they tried, the shipping interests tried real hard to discredit over and over, because he's called the grandfather of the Air Force, because he foresaw that the airplanes can do so much more than the ships at the time. And so all these people that had shipping interests try to discredit him in every which way, but now he's known as the grandfather of the Air Force. And this is his sister, Ruth Mitchell. She did so much to help the Serbian orphans of World War II. And these are different letters from her to my father.
1943. Wow.
What else we have? Oh, This is something else Ruth Mitchell did. Listen to this. Dear Sergeant Mamula, that's my Uncle Chappie. I am delighted to receive your letter favoring the formation of the American Chetnik Battalion within the United States Army and expressing your desire to serve in it. Your name has been added to the hundreds we have already received, and you may be sure that you will be among the first to be considered for service in the battalion. Negotiations are proceeding, and I have great hope we shall soon have good news for the Serbs. I will ask you to make sure that all your friends know about it and write to me. Ovim ćemo zajedno učiniti veliki korist Srbiji. Iskrenimo vas pozdravlja I želi svako dobro.
She wrote
Ruth
in
Mitchell.
Serbian?
Yeah.
No way.
Right, yep. And yeah, this is a letter to Desanka Trajdo. Okay.
And
Yeah.
she signed it as Chetnik.
Yeah. Is that something, huh?
Yeah.
And see, this is Serbian National Defense.
1943.
Yep. Wow. I didn't realize that. I forgot about this. The Serb National Defense made her an honorary...
Ruth Mitchell.
Yeah, Ruth Mitchell, honorary vice president of the Serbian National Defense Council. How about that? Oh, this is probably the article that she was... Ruth Mitchell tells the facts about the Serbs and the Chetniks. Right here.
But that was in Srbobran.
Yeah, in the Srbobran. Here's another thing she wrote. Serbian courage never dies. This is from December. Ruth Mitchell. Aren't you impressed that I have these clippings?
This is unbelievable. And this is original. It's not a copy.
No, it's original.
1942.
See?
1942.
So,
wow.
This is the first time I met author Jibby Jabilian. I had heard that they were going to honor, not that I heard of him, I knew of him, but I met him. I never met him before. And so I heard that they were going to honor him in Toledo, Ohio. So I asked my girlfriend, Vanjie, to come with me. Look what I took with me. My flag, my flag that I take everywhere. And so they had all these flags, just like Carl did, but they had all these flags out there in Toledo for Jibby, and they had just like a platform, a raised platform and everything. And they all did it. The University of Toledo honored him. All these other people honored him and everything like that. And they said, does anybody else want to say anything? And I raised my hand and I said, I do. I said, all the other people have heroes like Superman, Captain Marvel, Shazam, and everything. I says, but my heroes were Nick Lulich, George Buslin, and author Jibby Jabilian. And that was it. And that's how I finally got to meet him.
Wow. Do you still have this flag?
Yeah, of course. I take it everywhere. I take it everywhere. Bog Chuva Sibiu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere I take it.
Beautiful.
That flag was made by my husband's Teta Yubi when she was still dreaming about coming to America.
Oh my God. And on one side is American flag and on one side is Serbian.
Yeah. Isn't that beautiful, huh?
Beautiful. I love it.
Look at this, the role of Serbian Americans in World War I. This is what you would like to see. And here's Hitler's number one headache on this side right here. Oh, you would love this. Oh, wait, while we have that picture, you'll love this next. Because I told you I take this everywhere. So when they had the 100th anniversary of the flag flying over the White House, see where I took it?
An archbishop.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful picture right here. And this story tells all the other places that it has been, Okay, and then here we have Captain Nikolic and Draža. One receives the Legion of Merit and one receives a death sentence. This is real important, though.
Wow.
Here's a picture of Nikolic receiving the Legion of Merit. That's the biggest honor like America can give you. And this other guy, I have this whole story somewhere. When they got the Legion of Merit, it says about that they were with the partisans. Nick was real mad, and he says, I never saw a partisan. I was with the Chetniks. They says, keep your mouth closed.
Wow.
But he wrote it. He wrote it down, so, yeah. Here's our poor Chicha in chains and cufflinks. Oh, this is so important. We have to read this, okay? Watch this. Ex-OSS agent uses citation in effort to aid Mihailovic. This is 1948, April 30th. A former officer of the Strategic Services agent in Yugoslavia has his own Legion of Merit for the fight for fair play for Yugoslav General Draža Mihailovic. Lalic was only 29 at the time. A husky something from Cleveland, four former OSS agents. He was one of the four who came here Sunday with a delegation of Americans and Canadians seeking justice in for Mihailovic. Yesterday, he gave the Post a photocopy of his citation given him in Caserta, Italy, last year for exceptionally meritorious conduct in the mountains of Yugoslavia. Lalic, then an Army first lieutenant, parachuted into the country for, quote, informational purposes and to help evacuate Allied airmen hiding there. He operated with the Chetniks. During his 5 months in the hills, Lalic says he lived and operated with Mihailovic's Chetniks, evacuating 432 downed airmen, setting up communications and building airstrips. I never saw Tito or any of his partisans, declared Lalic. The nearest contact I had with them was when they chased me and the Chetniks north several days, fighting skirmishes all the way. The official Army citation said Lalic was with the partisans at this time and that all his work was done with their cooperation. When he protested this at Caserta, he was told to forget it or else he'd be in trouble. Not forgetting. I'm not going to forget it, said Lalic yesterday. This is why I always love my Nick Lalic. And I'll do all I can to get Mihailovic a decent break. He's getting a raw deal. He is not, and he never was, a Nazi collaborator. The proof is in the frontline intelligence reports, if the Army will make them public. We OSS men and airmen know the truth and want the State Department to let us present it to the public, which has been flooded with partisan propaganda, he added. Lalic described Mihailovic as a good-humored, regular guy and an accomplished scholar who is for democratic procedures. He quoted Mihailovic as saying, if the people don't want King Peter, all right. If they want Tito, that's all right too. But let's have a vote. They never brought a chance.
Amazing. Let's make a break. Okay?
Yeah, but don't you think that's important?
Yes, of course.
Because his Legion of Merit says he was with the partisans. He says, I never saw partisans.
Yeah. Okay, let's make a break.
Oh,